All right, guys. It is time for last call. And the last call, the main event of the night, is the top quarterback wide receiver duos in college football. And this is going to be fun. I don't know who to start with on this one. So I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 20. Joel, what is your number that you're going to think that I'm guessing right now?
You said 1 and 20, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go with 13.
Austin?
I'll go 12.
And Corey?
7.
Holy freaking smokes, Joel. I'm first time on the show that you nailed it, dude. 13 was the number I was thinking. 13 is my lucky number. It's my favorite number. Don't ask me why. It just always have been and always will be. So you get to start the main event with the top. Now we're going to go 5 to 4 or 5 to 1. So like you can just start off with your 5 and then we can, if we agree, like then we can just chime in, or if we have a different one, then we'll just kind of circle around. But go ahead and get us started with your number 5 quarterback wide receiver duo.
I silently prayed about that, getting that 13. That's pretty awesome. Thank you, Jesus, for getting me that one. So this is going to sound weird. I really don't have a necessary order for these, but here are my top 5 that I can watch that you could really watch out for. Let's go with Drew Allard and Trevor Pena from Penn State. Penn State finally gets a wide receiver, right? How about that, right? They finally get some help at the receiving core, and Pena's that guy. He played at Syracuse last year, transferred into Penn State, was a monster with McCord throwing in the ball. I think Drew Allard's going to, love him. I think that could be a good, wide receiver duo there. How about John Mateer and Deion Burks at Oklahoma? I said earlier that Oklahoma is a team that y'all need to watch out for. I think with what Oklahoma's doing, I just think that OU is going to be solid. And I think the reason why is because of a quarterback like Mateer and a receiver like Deion Burks coming in. So OU with Mateer and Deion Burks. How about Sam Levitt?
Whoa. Time out. Whoa. Let's start with your 5th one, which was, I guess, the first one that you listed.
The Penn State.
The Penn State guy. Who had Penn State and that guy? The Penn State. Did you guys have it?
Oh, I did, but I had it at number 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just figured we could each give one. Like we could just kind of circle around 5, 5, 5, 5. I'm sorry, I didn't explain that as good.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. I didn't even know. Those are my 2 right now. Then I'll just finish off the rest in a minute. But go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're good, man. It's just something that we that I've done, and they kind of do the same thing. We have a list 5 to 1, and we just kind of take turns and kind of compare rankings. That way, everybody can kind of hear everybody's 5 and then 4 and then so on.
Well, whoever may concern on this show, guys, whoever's listening, I apologize. Let me just put it that way.
No,
I'm
don't
right now. They won't
right,
I thought we were all doing our own list. So,
who is your 5?
Yeah, so my number 5 was actually Ty Simpson and Ryan Williams. Again, like he said earlier, I'm just assuming that Ty Simpson's going to be it. But I like the fact that it's Ryan Williams. So I think, honestly, whoever is the quarterback there is going to benefit from having the receiver. I disagree with that. Avery Johnson is
not a chance.
No, get him out of here. But so, again, he's number 5 just based on Ryan Williams alone, and whoever his quarterback is, they're going to benefit from having Ryan Williams.
I do want to comment on the Penn State one real quick. Not only the quarterback receiver combo, but I still think an OC that slept on is Andy Kotelnicki, all right? The dude is an absolute offensive genius. And now that you actually get him a weapon like that and an experienced quarterback, Penn State's going to be beautiful.
Okay.
And then him, I agree. I had that combo on my list, but not number 5. Number 5 was going to be my Penn State one, but this is where I put my homer pick. I actually put JD6 and Emmanuel Henderson Jr. From KU just because I had to have one homer, right? Emmanuel Henderson, transfer from Alabama, big-time weapon, right? For KU, right? So big time. I got to believe with all the hype that's been around JD6 the last few years, he's going to have a healthy, firm, full season at some point. I have to believe it. So number 5 is my homer pick.
Okay. So for me, my number 5 is the OU duo, John Mateer and Deion Burks. Deion Burks was headed for a big breakout season last year before he got hurt. Mateer had a really good season at Washington State last season. So I put them at number 5 on my rankings, just because I really think that duo will be the next great quarterback wide receiver for Boomer Sooner. So I think it's going to be a great pairing this season. And I didn't really have a lot to say about them because I didn't really see a lot of Mateer. And obviously Deion Burks was hurt last year. So I didn't have a lot to say on him, but I promise as I get closer to 1, I get a little bit more detailed on my explanation. So
yeah, I just have too much family who likes Oklahoma, so I am definitely an OU hater.
Oh, hey, I'm right there with you. But I got to try to keep some kind of unbiased here.
I respect it.
All right, Joel, your next one, please. 1.
So my fourth one is Mateer and Burks. I think that Mateer and Burks are going to be a good duo. Like you said, Deion Burks was, he got hurt. He was supposed to have a breakout year. Mateer, I don't know if y'all saw it. You said you didn't watch him at Washington State. He was phenomenal. Him and Arbuckle together. That's a really good OC. And I think OU is going to be phenomenal this year. I think Mateer is going to show everybody in the SEC that, hey, OU's got a quarterback now, and it's me, right? And I'm that guy.
And
so
it's me.
He showed some speed with his feet, but he can also launch a football. And I think he's got that receiver in Burks who can just go down and go yard with him and play like it's backyard football, right? So I think Burks and Mateer is my 4th.
Okay. And Corey, you said you had the Penn State duo, right?
Yeah, Aller and Pena. Just for the same reason. I mean, this is the same reason that Joel was talking about is coming in from Syracuse. This is the receiver that Penn State was missing last year, I believe. And Tyler Warren could only do so much for you last year. Your running game can only do so much. Now you have a receiver that you can throw in. And I think it gives them just an added skill position player. And I truly do. And I'm still drinking the Drew Aller Heisman sleeper juice. Okay. I still think Penn State's going to be ranked number 1 when that first poll comes out. So I like this Penn State team.
Mm-hmm. Austin, you're number 4.
Yeah, my number 4 is another just going with the quarterback I like, and then a slept-on receiver for him. I'm going DJ Lagway and Aiden Mizell. The dude's lengthy, but he's also a burner, right? So he's got like a nice size speed combo. Yeah. And I think year 2 with DJ Lagway and like just this speed, I think it's kind of what Joel said with what's going to happen in Oklahoma. Like Mizell's got the speed to burn him deep, and Lagway's another year experience. So it's more of another favorite pick. Previously I mentioned how hyped up I am for DJ Lagway. So I had to make sure to get him on my list to stay true to myself.
And Florida really ended the season on a good note last year. So like all the talk that they had, prior to midseason, DJ kind of came on there late towards the end. So I think ending on that note, heading into spring, really on a high level, again, this is a good quarterback. And I think you may have actually had him on your Heisman list. So, but yeah, I like DJ Lagway.
I actually put them, if I had like an honorable mention category, they probably would have been number 6 for me. And the Penn State duo probably would have been number 7 if I had the honorable mentions. I didn't do it for this segment, but all right. So that was your number 4. And we're back to Mr. Joel and his number 3.
Piggybacking off of, the DJ Lagway, he's not on my list, but he is a really good quarterback. I would take Florida very serious under Lagway. I'm just saying, I would take Florida serious. And especially with Aiden Mizell at receiver, I would take Florida serious. But with that being said, number 3 for me is Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. I think that's going to be a very underrated duo in the Big 12. Do I think Arizona State is my favorite for the Big 12 going into this year? You're going to have to wait and see on Pigskin and Frenzy for my conference standing projections for that one in a couple of weeks, but I think they're up there. I think that Sam Levitt's a really good quarterback. I think Tyson's a very underrated receiver, and I think he's got the speed, with, Levitt throwing the ball really deep to make it a fun duo to watch in the Big 12. So I think Levitt and Tyson's going to be my number 3. So give me them in the top 3 for me.
Yeah, they can put up some video game numbers in a conference that don't play defense.
Yeah,
they really could.
Wow, so I'm a bot, and I just realized I did not give my number 4.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was thinking about that. I was like, I forgot. I think we just skipped past him.
Yeah, all right. So I apologize, guys. I'm a little off my game tonight, but my number 4 is Cade Klubnik and Antonio Williams for Clemson. This is one of the duos in college football that could be something special. Klubnik is in his 3rd season under offensive coordinator Garrett Riley. The only thing that hinders me from ranking them higher is Antonio Williams is one of 3 top targets for Klubnik to throw to. Now, I will say, last season, Klubnik threw for 36 touchdowns. 10 of those went to Williams. I think they will build on that success from last season, and this should honestly help the Clemson offense and, maybe get them back into the playoffs this season. So look for Cade Klubnik and Antonio Williams to be a great duo in college football this season.
Yeah, Clemson's got to get back to old Clemson, right? Like, they kind of started showing it a little bit last year and obviously getting into the playoff and stuff. But again, I'm Corey, so I didn't make that pick. Whoever said,
I was laughing. I was like, I'm definitely the homer through and through.
So you were wrong. Nice try. Back to the Clemson one. I do like Cade Klubnik, and I think Dabo's finally getting back to getting the message across to those guys. And I like them in a weaker ACC again this year.
Yeah. Okay, so I gave my 4. You guys gave your 4. Joel, your 3rd was?
My 3rd was Sam Levitt, Jordan Tyson from
Arizona
Arizona
State. Okay.
State.
Now we're back to Corey and his 3rd.
Yeah, so I had Julian Sand and Jeremiah Smith. Again, I know it's another QB battle, but I agreed earlier with Joel Sand being the starting quarterback at least. And again, this is more based on who the receiver is, and quarterbacks can get to be very, very lucky. Again, some of these quarterbacks are going to get very, very lucky because we are getting blessed with really good receiver play right now. So we really got to enjoy this. And I think with Jeremiah Smith, that takes a little bit of pressure off a quarterback like Julian Sand. So I had them at number 3. And again, Ohio State's going to do Ohio State things this year.
I like that. I can't, maybe I have them higher. I don't know. So I don't want to comment. I don't want to spoil anything.
Right.
Austin?
Yeah, my 3rd is Ty Simpson and Ryan Williams. But this kind of goes off to what he just said. It's more because of who the receiver is. Sometimes there's just a cheat code where it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. As long as you have someone semi-competent out there throwing a football and a decent play caller, which I do believe Bama possesses both of those, it's going to make them look pretty lethal. So I got Ty Simpson and Ryan Williams.
So you're saying
fact because it's Ryan Williams.
You're saying like this graphic that we see here is we're going to see a lot of it. Boom, Simpson to Williams.
Yeah,
and I hope
you guys.
Yeah, and I hope it's one of those where Ty Simpson knows it too. So if he just doesn't know where to go, he just chucks it. Because I honestly, there's no reason to not throw it to Ryan Williams.
Yeah,
I don't care how many people are on him. He's that person.
Absolutely. All right, so my 3rd, I'm going to get some hate for this one, boys. I got to go Arch Manning and Ryan Wingo out of Texas. I want to put this duo higher, but I just can't bring myself to do it just quite yet. We all assume Arch Manning will be great, and he probably will be. But for now, I have him and Ryan Wingo as my 3rd-ranked duo. I'm sure some people may even say that's too high. We got to see a glimpse of him last season when Quinn Ewers was hurt, and it looked like he already had that chemistry with Ryan Wingo. last season. I look for him to build on that chemistry this season. And I've got him as my third ranked duo, guys. So it's Mr. Arch Manning and Ryan Wingo.
I don't think you're
Let's
going to
hear
get
it.
any for that.
Huh?
I don't think you'll get any kind of hate for that.
And
Yeah.
let's be 100% honest right now. Like, I mean, I would say this was obviously my number one, but Arch really hasn't proved anything yet for a full season. So you have yes, you can let people push back on you for it, but honestly, yes, you can go by sample size. But at the end of the day, this dude hasn't played a whole complete season yet. So
Yeah.
honestly, that's a well done on your take right there, Timmy.
Thanks.
And,
Appreciate that.
and that's why my QB rankings on my show, I did Arch Manning as an honorable mention, because I really can't rank him in the top 10 of my quarterbacks because I haven't really seen him play yet. Do I think he will be a top 10? Probably top 3, maybe even top 2, probably. Yeah. I do, because it's in his blood. And it is. Being a quarterback is in his blood. So I think he's going to be,
When I said I was going to get pushback, I honestly was expecting it from Joel because I heard his quarterback rankings and I heard him list Arch Manning as an honorable mention outside of his top 10. And I was just like, oh, he's going to push back. But all right.
I think you get pushed back for mentioning him not being in the top 10. I think that's the pushback you'll get. People are already ranking him in the top 10 and top 5 because he's a Manning. And I'm thinking to myself, like, let's just pump the brakes because he hasn't really done anything yet. So,
hey, valid. All right, man. Hit us with your number 2.
My number 2 is kind of interesting. And a lot of people are going to think, okay, it's just different. Number 2 for me is kind of a 1A, 1B situation because they're loaded. Garrett Nussmeier and Barry Brown / Nick Anderson at LSU. Take your pick on who can be his duo, who can be his his receiver, go-to guy. Because he's got Aaron Anderson, he's got Nick Anderson, he's got Barry Brown, and then he's got Xavier Thomas. But I think Barry Brown will probably be the guy. He's got the jackknife ability, kind of like how Deebo Samuel is with the 49ers. He's got that to him. And he can run sweeps with him. He can launch it down the field. And, he's excellent route runner. I think that LSU, to me, is a team that a lot of people need to watch out for. But at the same time, they also sleep on a little bit, too. That makes sense.
Yeah.
LSU's dangerous, man. LSU's dangerous roster-wise. Now, a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on that. But I think LSU's they're going to be in contention. Let me just put it that way. Give me Nussmeier and Brown at number 2.
That's really interesting. And spoiler, I actually left Garrett Nussmeier off my list.
Same.
I seen a lot of inconsistency with him last season, and I think he really just kind of in some of the big moments he looked like he kind of faded away a little bit. And so for me, I just kind of left him off my rankings. I was like, I'm going to go off of last season and what I saw you do and not do, and what I saw you do and not do a lot of. More so is I didn't see you do a lot of, completing it in the big moments of the game. So I really wanted to see that a lot more. And I feel like down the stretch he really struggled, and that really hurt that LSU offense. I'm not taking anything away from their offense. I think they could be good, but it really starts with Garrett Nussmeier and his ability to limit his mistakes this season on how far any wide receiver paired up with him will go.
I don't think he's got the talent. I think he's really got the talent. I think he's got it. It's just the big moments. Like you said, the big moments. It's literally, okay, can you do good against Bama? Can you do good against A&M? They didn't have that, and it's not an excuse because this is the truth. They didn't have that quite of a roster last year like they did this year. Now there's no excuse. If Nussmeier blows it and is inconsistent in the big games, then that's on him.
Right.
This is probably one of the better skill position groups that he's had too, right?
Yeah.
So, and I know people like to say whatever they want about Brian Kelly, but I mean, he still is a decent football coach as well. So he's still going to be able to, I think, get the best out of those guys. And I think, again, we always talk about skill position players make really good quarterbacks, but it can be kind of true as opposites. Quarterbacks can make not as good receivers really good receivers. But again, LSU's obviously been known for receivers for decades, right? Like, so it's kind of just one of those where I get it. I didn't have him on my list either, but this is the best group of skill position players that he's had. So the potential is obviously there.
LSU is a whole podcast episode. You can discuss LSU on a whole episode. It's a make or break year for Brian Kelly. Let me just put it that way.
Well, I don't think I could spend a whole episode talking LSU, but I'm not an LSU guy. So,
Do they still got Perkins?
So they got Whit Weeks. They have Harold Perkins. They got Patrick Payton from the portal. They loaded back up their DBs. They're just loaded talent wise. And I think that they have a shot at running the table. I just don't see why a lot of people aren't paying attention to LSU and what they're doing roster wise. Now, do I favor them against Clemson week 1? It's kind of early to say yes because of the history of what's going on in their openers, but I don't know. I think LSU's loaded though, man.
Which is also the same reason why Brian Kelly is on the hot seat, right? Like, this is probably the best roster he's had. If you can't show us, then and again, we know how the SEC goes with their coaches. You know, you can only win 7-8 games for so long before they're like, all right, man, next. So,
but I know we got to continue, and I'm sorry. This is my last statement on it. I think with LSU, with the roster that he's got, this is it. Like, if they don't make the playoffs this year with the roster that he has, it all comes down to coaching at this point.
Yeah.
They have nothing else to say. Like, if they don't make the playoffs this year, they're never going to make the playoffs under Brian Kelly. Never.
okay. Well, they don't make it this year. They're not making it. Sorry, LSU fans.
we'll be sitting here this time next year talking about new LSU head coach, whoever.
Lane Kiffin. No.
Oh,
all right, Corey, hit us with your number 2.
Yeah, so I'm high. It's Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson.
Okay.
I'm scared with now the tapes out on Arizona State. People aren't going to take them lightly as they probably did last year, just based on where they were picked in the Big 12, based on what they were able to do. But I like the swag that Sam Levitt plays with, right? He could have easily left Arizona State, right? You show any kind of success at a college, you can move on. He says, no, I'm going to stay. And this duo, I think, could be really, really, really good. I was really close to putting him at my number 1, but I didn't. But I do like this combo, and I do think Arizona State maybe regresses just a tad bit, but this combo is going to be just fine.
Right. Austin, you got anything you want to add to that, or say to his, or?
No, I mean, I didn't put him on just because it's the Big 12. I only put my KU one on there because I'm a homer. But I do think statistically, like, that combo could statistically have the biggest numbers out of any duo, just because they can put up video game like numbers in a rather easy conference. So I don't think it's a bad pick, right? Like, they had a great year last year, maybe a little regression, sure, but at the same time, like, still going to be big time numbers. So,
Okay, so who's your number 2 then?
I got Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith, strictly because of Jeremiah Smith. Honestly, just replay what I said about Ryan Williams and Ty Simpson, and that's why here. Again, this dude was like 12 years old, just balling out last year at receiver, right? So, yeah, this is more of another receiver pick than it is quarterback receiver combo. So, my brother said it earlier. We're blessed with like great receiver play in the last like 3 to 5 years specifically.
Yeah.
And I think this year's could be even better than any we've seen. So that's really the only reason. I don't think Julian Sayin by any stretch of the imagination is a legitimate elite tier quarterback. But I do think Jeremiah Smith is another one where you can't guard him. You can try. And as long as you can kind of get it in his area, he'll make the play for you.
Right.
So that's why I got them number 2.
You know, it is really funny because you literally said exactly what I was going to say on my take. My number 2 is Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith. And I literally said in my notes, it's because of Jeremiah Smith and not the quarterback. We know what Jeremiah Smith's going to do. We saw the elite production from him last season at just 18 years old, breaking all the team records, the freshman records at Ohio State. We don't know what Julian Sayan's going to be yet. We expect him to be great, coming in and being this big prospect. But well said, Austin, and you took the words right out of my mouth. I don't understand. Once again, from the war room, I don't understand how a Chief and a Charger can get along, but here we are.
But I'm going to say, again, it goes back to some of these quarterbacks who are going into their first year as a starter. It's like a good running game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a good running backs like Notre Dame. You have Jeremiah Love to give the ball to. Well, these guys are going to have Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, Jordan. These guys are going to have those guys to throw the ball to in key situations, and it takes the pressure off of them just a little bit because they know that it could be as easy as a quick jailbreak screen, and these guys can take it 90 yards and just like that for a touchdown. And then it gets your confidence build. Now you're going. So again, this is an extension of the run game essentially.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Joel, hit us with your number one, your best quarterback duo that you're expected to have great numbers this season. That's, going to be possibly Heisman in the Heisman running and everything. Let's hear it.
Ooh, I wouldn't say Heisman running. But
okay.
see.
Well, let's just hear who's going to be the great quarterback wide receiver duo.
One comment said on here before I do my number one. It says we're sleeping on Avery Johnson and J.C. Brown. I think Kansas State's going to be good. I also think Iowa State's going to be better than Kansas State.
Yes.
Which is my thing. I think Iowa State's going to be off the chain. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Iowa State and Rocco Beck. That's a whole other conversation. Now,
I want to comment on that too. I know I'm a KU fan. I'm not sleeping on Avery Johnson because he's really just not that good. Jace Brown, however, he is legitimate. Okay, so just to know that, like, I am a KU fan, but I still recognize, like, Avery Johnson for what K-State wants to be is good, but I still don't think it'd be considered sleeping on him. Jace Brown, however, is a legitimate threat.
And I would take Rocco Beck over Avery Johnson.
I would take Rocco Beck.
Yeah, and I would too. And yes, if they do win in Ireland, they will have a leg up. But I don't think they are going to win in Ireland. I got Iowa State early. That's just my early spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen. I think Iowa State beats them in Dublin. I think Iowa State's loaded, but that's a whole other conversation. My number one is Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith. I'll tell you why.
That's why he didn't comment.
because Jeremiah Smith, I say it all the time, when you see Jeremiah Smith as a defensive player, you freaking run. He is a menace to defenses. He's an absolute beast. People are comparing him to prime Julio Jones.
Yep.
That's some high praise.
Yeah.
I used to watch Julio Jones when I was little. Watch him in Alabama doing one-handed catches like that. It was an animal. Jeremiah Smith's pretty similar in a lot of plays. I think he's a beast. And I'll even go one further before I get to Julian Sayin. I think that Jeremiah Smith, he would have gotten, if he was eligible for the draft this year, he would have been the first receiver taken this year. Over Hunter, over anybody. Yeah, Ted, everybody. He was the first receiver taken. That's just my honest thoughts. I think he's the best receiver. He would have been the best receiver in that draft. I think he's the best receiver in college football. Now, Julian Sayin, you really can't say he's a leader or not because he hadn't played. He hadn't shown. This Texas will be his first game starting. So it's like we really can't, say, oh, he's awful, he's this. It's like, well, let's just pump the brakes. We haven't seen him play yet. Let's just watch. So, and I just think Jeremiah Smith's going to be good with anybody, really. He's just that guy. So I think he's already it's going to be a number one duo for that reason, because Jeremiah Smith's the best receiver in college football and the greatest sport on earth. So give me Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sayin number one, just because of how good he is.
Yep.
Corey.
Yeah, no, that was well said. So, I mean, you want my number one?
Yeah.
So I switched my number one while we were there in between this because I don't want the same one as him. But I like Mateer and Burks, and here's why. So it's been a while since Oklahoma's had a combo like this, right?
Yeah.
And I think when you think about this, their defense is going to be really good. Their defense has been good the last few years under Venables. So now you get a quarterback in there that I think he's going to take him to the next level, right? Now you're going to take a little bit of pressure off your defense, and your defense is going to give you kind of that option of shortening the field up as well. So as long as Burks can stay healthy, because I know last year he's battling some injuries, but this is probably one of the better quarterbacks Oklahoma's had in a long time.
So Oklahoma duo is Corey's number one.
Within the last 30 seconds.
Yeah. We don't share notes or anything, but I obviously have mine pulled up, and he obviously peeped them. So we obviously can't have the same one.
Fair enough. So Austin?
All right, Timmy. I know you mentioned your hate for it earlier, but I got Manning and Wingo. And let me tell you why.
Tell me. I'm listening.
I know y'all said pump the brakes on Arch Manning. Let me tell you, my brakes are cut. All right. I ain't pumping them. I can't. I'm not doing it. I'm a believer. I agree that, yeah, you probably want to see some games before you crown the guy. I don't care. I'll crown him now. To me, he's that dude. Texas has always had a legitimate number one receiver. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Ryan Wingo's that guy. I think that combo is not only just going to be lethal, but it's going to be must watch, must see, and it's going to be beautiful. This is kind of the opposite of the 2 and 3 on my rankings, where the receivers made that. For me here, the quarterback is making this. Nothing against Ryan Wingo, good receiver and everything, right? But Arch Manning is making this combo for me.
Yeah.
And I'll say, in the small sample size that we've gotten from Arch Manning, you see it's there. Like, he's obviously the most athletic Manning as far as like he can run the football. Peyton and Eli absolutely weren't doing that. But it's going to be tough to do it for a full SEC schedule. I think he can do it. And obviously they were my number 1, 2, just based on it is a lot. It's name, like the legacy. The pressure's not going to get to him, I don't think. No. He's got 2 uncles that are going to help get him through that. They've helped him get through that for this long, right?
Well, and the pressure's been on him because of his name well before he ever got to Texas. The moment he started playing like competitive football, that pressure's been there. So I don't think that's going to bother him at all.
Yeah, I do agree. I don't know if I'm quite ready to say he's the number 1. If he does, I'm not ready to say he's the number 1 overall pick quite yet.
I am.
I still think you got to see it a little bit, but I think he could be a top 2, 1 or 2. I do agree with that.
Yeah, he's going to be good. There's no doubt. I think that Arch Manning now, the only reason why I didn't make him like top 10 on my list is because he hadn't really done enough. But I do think that it's not going to surprise me. Like, everyone's going to sit there and say, oh, you hated on Arch Manning. How does it feel rubbing it in my face? You're not rubbing anything in my face. I knew that he was going to be good. I said it. I knew he was going to be good. It's just I didn't rank him because it's like, why would I rank somebody that barely played? You know what I mean?
No, and I completely get that. And honestly, I'm usually that way. Like, it definitely takes a unicorn type situation for me to not be that way. Like, big time prospects on all sports. I like the young prospects. I like the prospects more in baseball. You'll hear me catching more about the prospect. I still want to see what they do, right? Yeah. Arch Manning is that unicorn for me, to where it makes me have like an out of body experience. And I don't know if it is because I love Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. I'm a big fan of them, so I just really hope Arch is that dude next. But I am usually the same way as you, where like I wouldn't even dream about mentioning him on anything like this until we see something. But he's my unicorn when it comes to being like that. When making a take like this, I'm okay with it because he's that person to me.
He's quarterback royalty, so
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess there's only one quarterback wide receiver duo left, and I went with K-State, Avery Johnson, and J.C. Brown. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
I was about to log off.
Tim, I was about
Yeah, I was about to log off.
I'm sorry, I had to do it. Pitch Grid. They're not my number one, but I am going to tell you. So strap in, buckle up, and get ready because here we go with the number one quarterback wide receiver duo in college football this season. It is going to be Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson. I know what you might be thinking, guys. How in the world does this duo make it on the list and the duo of Ty Simpson and Ryan Williams not? Well, for me, this duo has more experience. They have more chemistry. And Sam Levitt chose to come back to Arizona State. He had plenty of offers that he could have went somewhere else, and he chose not to transfer. He stayed. He wanted to compete for a Big 12 title and maybe make a playoff run. 10 out of his 24 touchdowns that he threw last season was to Tyson. I think in the Big 12 conference, they can be a dominant duo. As you know, some of the other guys have said, it's kind of that weaker conference. You know, I'm not taking anything away from it, but it is a little bit weaker. Sam Levitt will be looking to prove himself that last year's success was not just because of Cam Scatterbo. Okay, the pressure will be on, but I fully expect this duo to make explosive plays all season. And if you tuned in to the episode of Shovik Sports that I was on a couple weeks back, then you already know Sam Levitt is my dark horse candidate for the Heisman. So that is my number one duo, guys, is Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State.
Yeah, I mean, they could have been. I do think they're a top 5 for sure, right?
Yeah.
It's like you don't always have to necessarily think they're the best ones, but they are deserving of that just based on the numbers that they've put up together. The part where, yeah, there's familiarity there, there's comfort, the comfort level, knowing that he has his number one guy. So yeah, I mean, those are all valid. So I agree with that.
This is the experience level and the chemistry.
Yep.
You know, and it's hard to not rank them, you know, ahead, right? Or at least in the top 3. It's only because everyone's saying, okay, we got Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sands, a little inexperienced. Okay, Brian Wingo's played a lot, but Arch Manning, the experience. With this, it's a blend of both. They're used to each other. They know each other. The chemistry's there. The experience is there. They did it last year. They're going to go do it again this year. So it's like, why not rank them top 3 or even number 1? So that didn't really shock me at all. I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking to it. I think they're going to put up video game numbers, right? Like, there's no reason that they kind of did last year when you think about it. Like, maybe not true like rookie mode video game numbers, but yeah, I don't see why not. I didn't have him on there because I could only have one Big 10 or Big 12 duo, and I had to be my homer. But yeah, absolutely, this combo is gonna be annoying as a fellow Big 12 fan, but as a football fan, it's gonna be enjoyable to watch. Like to what Joel said, the chemistry, right? There's just something about a quarterback and receiver who are just in lockstep. It's kind of like poetry in motion, kind of, right? When you get to see it on the football field as a